And one thing I remember was this horse came out, a police horse, and this old guy just marched through the crowd out of us, our lot, and he just pulled this guy off, the policeman off, and pulled him to the ground. So all these police then pounced on him, and I just suddenly, something went, and I went in there and I pulled the police off, and there was a lot of shoving and brawling, and we all got out again, and it seemed to me then that after this there was a lot more fighting with the police mostly, and then somehow or other I got with a load of black kids, and this chant was going up, the Workers United will never be defeated, and I remember this whole sense that wow, this could be true, and you can do something here. I worked with fascists at the time. I was working in Camberley, Surrey, which is hardly the revolutionary centre of Britain, and very suburban, middle-class background. I was working in a little factory. I was about 17, and in that factory there was one black guy. He was the only black guy in his estate, and he used to get pushed around and called a nigger and all that, and I was called a nigger lover. And I remember a friend of mine, he pulled up one of these fascists at work with a knife to his throat and told him to leave us alone, and then it stopped. So I had this sort of feeling that actually there was this thing about violence, I guess. There was your youth, and you're into that kind of macho thing, but the National Front people were generally big guys, and they loved the violence, and I thought some of us got to take these guys on. I wasn't really frightened of them, but they were bigger than me. I was a young kid, really. And anyway, I don't know, but I was ended up somewhere. There was a load of fascists hanging around, and all sort of lined up and that. And then some scuffles broke out. And then next thing I knew, I was in the back of the police van, about 3 cops on me, and I was taken down. And strange thing happened. I'd been up in Old Street about 4 months before, and I'd been arrested. And at the time I was kind of bisexual, and the police they found out that I was a gay guy. I was with about 7 mates who were all straight, and we were drunk and all that, and one of them tried a car door, and somebody had a bit of dope on them, that we had taken down the police cells, and they found out. The other one, the guy said I was a queer and all that, and so they took me down, and the police, they came into the cell, and I was on my own. I was 16 or 17, and they stripped me down, and they said, take all your clothes off, and they all lined up, their truncheons like this, and they said, you better take your clothes off, and then they made me take all my clothes off, and they looked at my arse and all that, and they were really getting aggressive. I thought they were going to rape me or something. I was quite frightened, and I thought, I remember just talking all the time, and I wouldn't shut up, and then they shut up, and they left. So I didn't have much sympathy with the police. But when we were inside in the cells at Lewisham, they weren't cells, like a big compound, and so happened that one of the police who had nicked me then was there, and he said to me, I thought I'd see you there. And we had a kind of laugh and a joke about it, and I just remember thinking, oh, you're not, and he was frightened, because he said he said he was just glad he'd nicked somebody just to get out of it. He said it was all held, let loose, and he was just glad to get away from all the violence. And he said to me, what are you in for? And I said, I'm threatening behaviour. He said, oh, that shouldn't be too bad. He was quite sympathetic. We had a long chat, and he kind of wished me good luck and all that. But then he told me that a rumour had gone round that a policeman had been killed, and at Lewisham. And he said, and about that time, that they were dragging in demonstrators and punching them in the face. And I remember they had to restrain a cop because he was punching this guy in the face. And I don't know what he'd done, but they were really. It was getting quite rough and quite heavy, and the police looked totally exhausted. It was a really hot day, and everyone was sort of sweating and steam coming up. It was a kind of atmosphere. And then I got released, and I was charged. On the coach back down to Surrey, there was about 20 people on the coach, just a regular coach from Victoria Station. And somebody started going on about what happened in Lewisham. And then this whole big argument broke out and on the coach, and everyone got involved. And it was all about black people, and all this racism was coming out, but a whole load of people were anti-racist as well. And the whole coach was split, and the whole journey down, they were debating about racism, about the National Front, and there was a guy there who was a National Front sympathiser, and there was me who'd been on the other side. It was amazing. And then I remember thinking after that, you could hold your head high, and it was a sense of, it was a sense that the NF were trying to control the streets. That was their thing. Like, they were like fascists in the sense that you send out these fascist gangs and they want to control the streets. And there was Webster, who was more sort of thuggish, and then there was Tyndall, who was a bit more kind of old school nationalist sort of person, you know. And I suppose that was a turning point, as has been said here. That was a big turning point. After that, I remember the anti-Nazi League started up, and I myself moved up to Norwich, and I remember there was the anti-Nazi League up there. But things got. I remember I went to other demos, and some of them were very violent, and the police were using new tactics, dressing up as demonstrators, and all that kind of